and welcome back to the Bear Farmer YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing starting your very own indoor or garage grow area or garden. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, what do you want to grow? Do you want to grow little things like lettuces, just to supplement your lettuce or salad needs or spinaches or things of that nature, because you're going to grow those a little bit differently than you're going to grow fruiting plants like tomatoes or watermelon, or even if you want to grow things like corn or, trees even like I do. So what you're going to grow, you need to write that down first. Get a plan of what you want to grow and how you want to grow it. And what I mean by how you want to grow it is, are you going to use a normal grow medium like soil? Because you're going to have a very different setup if you're going to use soil to grow indoors than you are if you're going to grow hydroponically or aeroponically or a mixture of these, or hydroponically. There's even a dozen different setups you can use to grow hydroponically, and not all of them work the same. So you're going to need to answer those basic questions first of what you want to grow and how you want to grow it, because your material list is going to vary greatly on how you want to grow it and how you're going to start your seeds, start your plants, whether you're going to buy them from the store, whether you're going to grow them yourself. How you want to do all that is things you want to sit down and write down ahead of time to get a plan for exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it. The next thing you're going to contemplate is, how much space are you going to dedicate to this? Do you have an extra room? Do you have a garage like what I'm using that you want to use to grow indoors? Is it heated? Is it cooled? Are you going to need to heat and cool it to keep the temperature exactly where you want it to be? Do you have access to water in your garage or your grow area? Do you have access to electricity in your water or grow area? And if not, how are you going to meet those needs? Here in my garage grow area, I have all of those things. I have a faucet, I have electric, I have climate control already here. So I don't necessarily have to worry about those things as much as some of you might. So those are questions also that you're gonna have to answer, is how am I safely going to get water and electricity into my grow area? Next, you're gonna wanna form a plan. How you wanna lay it out, what exactly you're gonna wanna grow in what areas, and so on and so forth. This is the plan that I'm starting with, and it's going to change. And that's the reason I stay flexible, because I'm using a bunch of different materials that I want to repurpose or use to try to set up my grow areas. I've already tried one and it didn't work out the way that I intended for it to, because I was spatially challenged. I'm expanding my grow area a little bit now, and we're gonna be going over that. You saw my plan up on the screen there for what I wanna do, but even that's already changed, and I'll explain that a little bit because I've added what I wanted to do, which was I wanted to have a soil grow area inside. So I wanna make an indoor raised garden bed that I can use to grow things, because I like growing in soil, and it's one of the mediums that I like to use. And it will be great also for example videos for you guys about how fast things grow in the hydroponic systems versus how fast they grow in soil. But everything I grow is grown indoors. So I wanted to have that as a teaching opportunity as much as an experiment opportunity for me, because I enjoy growing things in soil. The last thing we want to discuss is, where do we want to be? What's your final product going to look like? Where do you envision your product being at the end, like your grow setup? How exactly do you want it to look at the end? It doesn't necessarily have to look that way starting out, because you're going to start small, but you're going to grow. So however big of an area that you want to set aside for your grow area, set it aside at the beginning and start working on little things at a time. Because our next video is going to be all about setting up our very first step, which is our seedling and germination area, and also how we're going to get that from seedlings and germination area into a propagation area. That's an area that we have to have set up. And if you look at my plan, I don't have a spot on there set up for germination. So that's another thing that I'm gonna have to be flexible with, and I'm gonna have to multi-use some of my space or grow higher in some of my space to be able to utilize that. Because I'm gonna need a germination and grow area. It's the very first thing that you're gonna start with. So that's the very first video that we're gonna go over, is how to set up a germination and propagation area. You have your space allocated, you know how big you wanna get, you know exactly how much room you're willing to dedicate to this. It's time to pick a starting point and start. If you're not starting with seedlings and germination, you probably don't need to know how to set up a seedling and germination or propagation area. If you're gonna go to the store or the nursery and buy plants that are already established and just throw them straight into a system or a dirt bed or a hydroponic system, however you're planning on growing, you can skip that step basically and just go straight to that. And maybe you're gonna come back to starting seedlings and germination later on, and so that's not the first thing you wanna start with, but you need to pick an area to start and then start. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I just wanted to give you some ideas of exactly what you're thinking about and how to start planning it ahead of time, so that way you're not just stumbling over yourself and trying to figure it all out in one go. And you don't have to start with the entire project. You can start at one phase of it and slowly work your way into what you want to do. So that's my advice for you today. Stick around for this next video as we'll be discussing some of the starting steps of actually building our grow area. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this content, please subscribe or at least leave us a like. If you want or appreciate this type of content, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel and you can get all of our videos as they come out and we can learn together. As always, thanks for tuning in and God bless.